Welcome to Rathalos Watch. This is the 20th episode of Should X Monster Return to Hunter Wilds. Today we'll be talking about another modern day monster from the 5th generation of Monster Hunter, Bishaten. As always, we'll delve into the monster in greater detail, covering its first appearance, overall reception, memorable aspects, visual design, combat style, and ultimately, whether it should return to Hunter Wilds. We'll explore how Capcom could potentially bring back the monster, what they should or shouldn't change, what new interactions they could implement, and how the monster could fit into the next generation of Monster Hunter in terms of mechanics and design philosophies. If you've been enjoying this series and want more hardcore coverage of Monster Hunter Wilds, then don't forget to subscribe, and also feel free to join our Discord and speculate about Monster Hunter Wilds with passionate fellow hunters. Link is in a pinned comment. Without further ado, let's begin. Bishaten is classified as a fanged beast and was first introduced to the franchise in Monster Hunter Rise when it came out exclusively for the Nintendo Switch on March 26, 2021. The PC version then came out on January 13th in 2022, followed by PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One on January 20th, 2023. He is an omnivore who likes to eat fruits and even has combat mechanics associated with them, which we will discuss later in the video in the fighting style section. If someone ever asked me, is there any kind of a monster that acts like some sort of a joker or a trickster in Monster Hunter? Bishaten would be my answer because that's exactly what he is, which makes him quite the unique monster compared to everything else out there. Just like most monsters in Monster Hunter Rise, Bishaten is also based on the Tengu yokai from Japanese folklore. He also was voted 188th place in the Hunter's Choice for Top Monster during Monster Hunter's 20th anniversary. Fun fact, he is related to Ketchawacha, which is also another fanged beast, and is a monkey from Monster Hunter 4. We will cover Ketchawacha and his subspecies Ash Ketchawacha in a future video, so stay tuned. Bishaten has two rivals in Monster Hunter Rise, including Rathalos and Almudron, that he tends to clash with. Let's take a quick peek at both of these turf wars and see who ends up being the winner. Yeah, well, that was quite the show, wasn't it? Let me know what you think of Bishaten's turf wars in the comments down below, and which one you like the most. Bishaten can be first encountered in a 4-star village quest, Monkey Wrench in your plants in the Shrine Ruins locale. He can also appear in the Flooded Forest and Jungle locale that's exclusive to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Bishaten can range from the smallest gull crown size of 832.30 centimeters to the largest gull crown size of 1054.26 centimeters. He is weakest to fire and ice elements. Fun fact, Bishaten likes to throw fruit, and each different color does something specific. Orange one is being used as a thrown weapon, purple one inflicts poison damage, yellow is used as a flash, similar to Gypsyros crest, and in high rank he gets a green persimmon that can inflict paralysis. So what makes Bishaten a memorable monster? Well, it's a combination of things. I'd argue he's memorable not only because of his visual design but also his fighting style. And it's also another monkey, and Capcom is quite good at making memorable monkeys that have their own unique personalities that sets them apart from other monsters. For example, Rei Zhang is like an angry raging bull that goes Super Saiyan. Kangalala is a smelly farting goof that throws poop at everyone. Langanga is a pack leader that throws snowballs, and now Bishaten is a joker who likes to juggle fruits and be unpredictable. In addition, his visual design really adds to it, so let's discuss that now. Bishaten is a unique fanged beast with an unusual body shape. Most of its fur is cream colored, while its arms and legs are covered in blue fur. Like its relative Ketchawacha, Bishaten has wing-like patagia on its arms, supported by a wing finger and covered with a scion feathers, allowing it to glide. Its arms end in 5 digits, including a wing finger and 4 shorter fingers with black claws, along with an opposable thumb. Its legs have 3 digits with similar claws. The most notable feature is Bishaten's strong tail, which can support its weight similar to Great Macau and Somnicath. The tail ends in a hand with 5 lobes, the center being the largest and is partly covered in hard shells. Bishaten also has a pouch on its belly for storing fruits. Its face is quite odd, featuring a large bony protrusion between its eyes and a smaller one on its forehead. Both jaws have beak-like extensions, with the upper one also containing nostrils. Bishaten's large ears and its mane of blue and white fur complete its appearance, with females having a smaller mane. Now that we've covered Bishaten's visual design, it's time to break down his trickster-like and circus fighting style. He will twirl his entire body and do a handstand with one hand on the ground, and then follow up with a tail kicking towards the hunter, and then right after that slam down with his tail before getting back to regular position. On occasion, he will pull out 2 yellow persimmons out of his pouch crouch and then throw them at the player with his tail. If you're standing next to him, he will sometimes also pull out 2 poisonous purple persimmons and then slam them on the ground. If you're near them, you will get hit for damage and be inflicted with poison, so bring a couple of antidotes to cure the poison. He can also flash you by jumping into the air with a green persimmon that's being held by his tail, and when he lands it, it will explode, causing a flash. Guys, I think I'm getting Gypsaros flashbacks. Somebody please save me. Bishaten can also balance his entire body using his tail and then proceed with trying to tail whip towards the player. Just be far away, dodge or wire bug out. When he's in this position, he will also grab a bunch of different colored fruits and start spamming you with the throws. Just run full speed to not get hit by the thrown fruits. Sometimes your hunter will say, "Get out of there," which is a signal for his special move where he tornadoes himself towards you while throwing out a bunch of fruits on the way. Just wire bug out or pick a direction and then run away to avoid it. He also likes to strafe to a side and throw fruit towards you. On occasion, he will also throw a green fruit towards his tail and then slam down on the ground trying to paralyze you with it. So do not stand in front of him when he's about to do this. He can also perform a dash that will deal damage if he collides with you. He also has a melee combo where he tries to hit you with one arm and then the other and then slam you down with his tail. Sometimes though, he ends the combo with 2 poisonous persimmons instead. Either way, do not be in front of him and avoid it at all costs. Sometimes he tends to jump backwards as a defensive mechanism while throwing a fruit at you. And if you are far away from him, he may also jump into the air and glide towards you a short distance. That is pretty much it for his fighting style. As you can see, he's not an easy monster to predict as some other ones. Honestly, out of all the monkeys, I believe he's the most challenging one to predict. Meanwhile, Kangalala is the slowest and the most predictable if you ask me. And yes, Bishaten does have a subspecies known as Blood Orange Bishaten, and in my opinion, he's more fun to fight and he's a bit more of a spectacle, and here's why. But first, let's talk about the visual changes. Blood Orange Bishaten closely resembles a regular Bishaten but with different colors. Its feathers are primarily orange and black instead of the usual blue and white. The tip of its wings are yellow, while its face, legs, and tail are white. For the most part, Blood Orange Bishaten has pretty much exact the same moves as his regular counterpart. However, what sets him apart is the fact that he throws explosive pine cones instead of fruits. They deal a ton of damage and have an area of effect damage, so you can't even be next to them, and there are quite a few different variations of the throws. On occasion, he will slam down an exploding pine cone back to back right in front of him. If you get hit, you will be inflicted with a burn and take a lot of damage. Just like he slams down the poisonous persimmons, he will also slam down the exploding pine cones as a Blood Orange Bishaten instead, which are a lot more deadly. One of his most devastating moves is when he pulls out 2 explosive pine cones and then he has them rotating on the ground around him. Right after that, he will also throw out 3 additional pine cones in a triangle formation. They need to be carefully avoided, and on a last bounce, they will also explode. He will do a backwards dash and then throw 1 pine cone from his left arm, and after a short delay, throw another one from his right. Similar to how he puts a fruit on his tail in his regular version, he will use a pine cone here instead, which makes this move more dangerous because when it lands, it explodes and the damage also splits outwards to both sides. This is also a good time to hit him afterwards. While standing using his tail, he can pull out 2 pine cones and start throwing them, and right after that, he will start spamming you with even more pine cones. Keep running or immediately wire bug out, or you will get hit for a lot of damage and burn like I did here. He may continue throwing more pine cones at you in even more varieties of ways, so when he's standing on his tail, be extra cautious and be prepared to dodge at any moment. And yes, he still does the tornado rush at you, but after he does that, he goes back to his normal positioning. Last but not least, he is now also able to breathe fire in front of him, but thankfully he's not able to change directions, so just don't be in front of him and hit him from the side or the back as much as you can during this. Now that we've covered Bishaten and his subspecies Blood Orange Bishaten, we have to ask ourselves, does he need to make a return to Hunter Wilds? Honestly, I think the answer to this question is kind of complicated. While I did really enjoy fighting him and believe that he is a very unique monster, the fact that he is inspired by Japanese folklore makes him a bit of a difficult fit for Hunter Wilds, simply because Hunter Wilds focuses more on grounded and somewhat realistic monster designs. Meanwhile, the majority of the monsters in Hunter Rise and its expansion Sunbreak are way more stylized and a bit crazy in terms of their visual inspiration, and Magna Mallow is a very good example of that. Basically, what I'm saying is that if he did return, he would just be way out of place, and I have a hard time seeing him fighting a Doshiguma or Balahara without having the immersion being broken, and for me, immersion is a very big part of Monster Hunter. I really do like him as a monster on his own, and the only way I would ever see him fit into Hunter Wilds is maybe in a gene rank expansion or some sort of a special quest event. Perhaps the gene rank expansion could include some sort of a locale that is more easternized and is focused on some sort of Japanese folklore and legends. Or honestly, the best case for Bishaten, I think, would just be to have him return in a future Nintendo Switch 2 title that we all know Capcom's mobile Monster Hunter development team has already been probably cooking for quite a while now. As far as design philosophies and mechanics go, I believe Bishaten could have a ton of interesting interactions with the environment and other monsters. Maybe we could see him grabbing fruits from a tree, or watch him shove the explosive pine cones down Doshuguma's throat, assuming that Capcom decides to bring back both Bishaten and his subspecies variant. There are plenty of ways to make him interesting and have him add value, but as I said, he's way out of place due to his visual design and inspiration to return to Hunter Wilds, in my personal but brutally honest opinion. Do you fellow hunters believe that Bishaten and his variant Blood Orange Bishaten are a good fit and deserve to return to Hunter Wilds? Or would you rather see something completely fresh and new? And how do you see them interacting with other monsters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and tell me which monsters do you like me to cover in future episodes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Peace out and happy hunting.